Hi, everyone. Welcome to On Air with Brandon J. I'm joined by a special guest today, Mr. Christopher Broughton. You may know him as Gino in the Netflix feature film produced by Devon Franklin and Tyler Perry, Ruth and Boaz. Chris, how are you?
Man, doing great.
I saw the film and I
Oh,
have to say you guys did an unbelievable job with this movie. And to
thank you.
take a historic story in the Bible, such as Ruth and Boaz, and kind of put that twist on it where we've got music, we've got winery. Like, what were your thoughts where you're like, hey, let's take these worlds and kind of combine them, but also not lose the essence of Ruth and Boaz?
That's always a delicate balance. And it's inspired by Ruth, the story of Ruth. And that is a story that's told over and over and over again. And I wanted this whole thing to inspire many, a classic that is forever now and forever. I was so excited to be involved with the whole making of this movie because I knew how it was going to touch people. And we all need love. I don't care where you are, no matter where you are in the world, we all need love. It's something that is in our DNA to love one another. Everything every crime that's ever been happened on the planet Earth, kids join gangs because they want to feel love. The girl has a baby, want to feel love. And this is one of those films where you feel it. It's fun.
And you know what was cool to see too, Chris, was all of the special cameos, right? So we get Jermaine Dupri at the very beginning of the film. Babyface makes his entrance.
Yo,
You This
Trey, look here.
Lecrae was in the studio, and then to hear a song, which, in my opinion, Chris, I'm not being biased here, but goodness of God, one of the best songs ever, Miss CC Winans. To hear that song in the film, I was blown away. And to hear
Absolutely.
Babyface kind of, and I don't want to give away too much. You guys got to go to Netflix and see this film. It's number one internationally. But man, it just it's so much substance and so much purpose behind the film. And something that I wanted to bring up too, Chris, was when I was watching the film, the old adage from the Bible, all things good and bad work together for our good for those that love the Lord. You even see that in the film.
You do. You do. It's amazing all the synergy and all the little Easter eggs in this movie. And you sit back and just count the Easter eggs. Like there's a scene where everything has been destroyed, and out of the ashes, how we're taken down this journey, and you realize that sometimes God is just sharpening iron with iron to bring out the best in you, and He never leaves you. Sometimes these things happen so you can seek Him first, and when you hold on to that promise, boy, does He deliver. And you feel that with this movie. Would you back up just for a second? When I think about Lecrae in the movie, he's so natural, and it's almost like an Easter egg. I remember my nephew and Brandon and Miles and their mom Yvonne called me. You didn't tell me Lecrae was in the movie. Oh my God, they were so excited about him. And the film was hilarious. Uh, and then having Babyface on the soundtrack, creating music for the movie, amazing,
And it's
amazing.
just incredible, Chris, how soft spoken Kenny Babyface Edmonds is, but a genius in the studio on the keys. I mean, he could play anything. And you
Yeah.
know this because you're a guy that loves music and you've been a part of some big
Yeah.
stuff in music.
Yes, yes. I've had some wonderful artists in my life. Busta Rhymes, Missy Elliott, to Aaliyah, um, Genuine. I mean, it's been amazing the music side of me as well. But Babyface, I've known Baby for a long, long time. This is a beautiful genius. When it comes to that music thing, he's just music, and to have him bless us with, yeah, I want to help. I want to be a part of this. And when Devon reached out, and said, he's going to come, we were all so excited. But it was just natural. Everything was just so organic uh, in this film. And I'm very excited of all the people who are coming to see it. And it's igniting the hope that, God has got somebody for you. You don't have
Listen,
to look for.
I heard, Chris, that churches across the nation, they were driving in packs to team up together to have a party to watch Ruth and Boaz. I mean, it's not just a film that like, okay, we're gonna go watch another movie, right? But we're gonna go
Right.
watch a movie that's a culture classic, and I think you guys accomplished that with this film.
I tell people it's not what you think. Go see it. You could take your mom, your grandma, you can take the kids, but it has something for everybody. It's something that you're going to get out of this film. It's not a preachy film. It is a feel good movie. It is a film that has action in it. It's got some suspense. It's got, some things that really kind of, I'm getting people said, hey, I saw this thing. I wasn't going to watch it, but I quit it. I couldn't turn it off. So that was pretty cool to hear people respond to it that way.
Very cool. Chris, you're not someone that is just a talent that goes into character mode on the camera, right? You're the guy writing the script. You're the guy setting the tone for the stage, for the camera.
Hmm.
In terms of your abilities as a director, a writer, a producer, which one do you value the most?
I think they go hand in hand. Ruth and Boaz was written by two amazing writers, and you don't really have an actor, you don't have a director, you don't have a producer, you have nothing until you have a script.
Right.
And that Devon went and grabbed Corey and Mike to cultivate and put this thing on paper, and they breathe life into that. And of course, it comes into the hands of the producers and Alana, who was our director. And when you add all that stuff in it, it's amazing. But because I've had a chance to direct film, television, music, it's amazing to make that cake and to create it. But then as a producer, you're finding the elements. As a writer, you're creating that will bring all those people together. To me, I don't care what hat I have on. It's being a part of something that's going to touch somebody's life that'll be here forever. And that's important to me. You don't have to be a writer, director, or producer. You just have to know that God woke you up today. It wasn't an alarm clock. And so go out and be something great because he made you, to be great. You just have to know that you are. And I feel films do that to people. One of the things that we have here is a film or music or whatever that gift is inside of you is going to aspire and inspire people globally if you just let it out.
Absolutely. I could not agree with you more. I always say that music is the universal language, right? And sometimes, we write our biggest songs when we go through the roughest experiences that we're faced with, right? In life. I mean, I know I can truly say that I've written some deep stuff, and that's for another day, for another con. What made you decide, like, hey, I think I want to be an actor. I think I want to be behind the scenes as well as a writer, a producer, a director. What gave you that idea?
I've been in entertainment all my life. I was a studio musician. I worked with a lady named Sylvia Moy when I was a kid from the Motown.
Wow.
I had beautiful people around me. Gladys Knight, who loved on me as a kid and as a young man in my career, and people pushed me. But I noticed earlier the gift inside of me, um, and I was performing, as live performing, and I could entertain adults, as a child. And it was very interesting to be able to make them laugh and to do what I was doing. As a kid, I had a background in magic, so which was very interesting. Became one of the greatest magicians in the world, which sounds really crazy. I was the first Black American to get this award and blah blah blah, and traveled with that, did plays. And when I moved to California, my third day, I got a movie, and they said that didn't happen, but I didn't know any different. And then I ended up with management because I was doing stand up at the time. And Roy Silver came out of retirement for me. And he introduced me to great writers. I wrote with a guy named Sheldon Leonard and Ed Weinberger and these are old timers who just loved on me. And I always knew God was in me, but to have them see that thing in you, because Roy told me this, he says, you have it, kid. You can't sell it, you can't buy it, you can't trade it. You either it or not. And he says, we're going to help you. And he says, you're a writer. I'm like, huh? All that stuff you're doing on stage, he says, you wrote it.
But in terms of this film festival, you got to share with our audience
Oh,
what
man.
you're hosting in Los Angeles in November.
We have a film festival. I got tapped on the shoulder. I think Gino did it, to come host a film festival called the Film Faster 48. And they are giving away cash prizes and a fully funded film that they're going to take this filmmaker and place him in this movie. You got producers from Paramount and Lionsgate coming together for this film festival called Film Faster 48. They're having it in Culver City, California. And the whole idea is to give the filmmakers a task. They have to write it, produce it, direct it all in 48 hours. And,
Wow.
yeah.
How do
So,
you do that in 48 hours, Chris? I mean, that seems impossible. I know it's not impossible, but it seems impossible.
yes, it does. But when you have a thought becomes a thing. And how the contest is set up, they give them a subject matter, and it's almost like a race, like a decathlon, and go. And it's fun to see these beautiful, creative people, their teams go out and make it happen. And I think it's everything from, action to drama to scary films to comedy. I'm excited about it because it's submissions from all over the world are coming in for this thing November 10th, right in Culver City. And it's called Film Faster 48. And then they have me hosting it. They're giving away great cash prizes, um, and producing deals, and they're going to fund somebody to do their entire film.
That is
Yeah,
incredible, man.
yeah.
I
So a
don't
lot
think
of,
there's ever been a film fest like that, Chris. I mean, there's a
I don't
ton of
know,
film fests around the world every
yeah,
year,
a lot of
but
them.
something like this is a
Yeah,
game
yes,
changer.
yes. So I'm the host. I'm happy to be the host. I'm happy to look at films. Um, I have been a film critic and looking at films. I've worked with the Emmys, the international Emmys, as a judge, and
Wow,
I love storytelling, and especially American films. They're global. People want to see those stories that we tell, and it brings people together. And I enjoy all facets of a film. A lot of people don't understand when you're watching a movie and just go to the end of the movie, the credits are going up, and you see thousands and thousands of people. But I want you to think about the people who didn't get a credit. They're just as important. They're amazing. From the crafty to know to put a little pinch of salt in the director's, coffee, to the PA who is, running around making sure somebody has this, that, and the other. And it's like its own universe that creates one thing that lives forever. And
man.
it's mm,
You said it brilliantly, right? I don't think we could word it any better than what Gino just said here on the interview.
yes, yes, yes. So I'm excited. I want people to see this movie. Ruth and Boaz, um, just turn it on. We got very fortunate. I was teasing them the other day. I said we didn't have Tom Cruise. We, really wanted a budget to advertise it. But when God speaks, he speaks. And this film became number one and number one globally. We were like, oh my God, I guess he heard us.
Yeah, that is incredible. I when I saw this is funny, right? When I saw Tyler Perry's name, I said, "Is Medea going to make a cameo in this film?"
not not this round. Thanks to Tyler, for seeing that this was going to be magical, and just the idea that he put that endorsement on it and knew it was something that was touching somebody's heart. And we're so appreciative of him saying, "Okay, guys, go out there and do some magic." That was great. But we want to do more films like this. And now you're hearing people want to see more films like this, especially when people feel good, they do better. So I like doing films that make you feel good, whether it's a scary film, whether it's an action film, whether it's whatever. I want you to feel good. It's fun for me.
when you were on set, did you know how you have a script, right? You guys follow the
Right.
script. Was there
Oh,
any moments of improvisation when you were like, hey, you know what? Let's add this to it. Let's kind of let this character kind of do their own thing.
mistakes happen a lot that end
Uh-huh.
up, in movies. A very famous one was, if you remember Indiana Jones, when Harrison Ford is, the guy is coming at him with the swords and all he has is a whip. And then he pulls a gun out and he shoots him. That wasn't in the script. That was something that, he just threw because they kept doing the scene over and over and over again. And it didn't have the punch. He said, oh my God, he just pulled, and then, oh my God, that's brilliant. That happens all the time. When we did Ruth and Boaz, there's some wonderful things that happen, on camera. A lot of things that are on the cutting room floor, but when you get those characters together and you start feeling and becoming, the moment. I say acting is reacting. Don't act for me, react. And Tyler Lupley, who is amazing. He's the heartthrob out there, our new Billy D. Williams. And a lot of my scenes with him, I play his best friend and running the winery with him. And it was just so easy to work with him. It was the first time we've worked together. So he
Wow.
didn't know my background or anything. But for me, I saw, this is a brother, this is somebody that I've worked with, and I had a backstory in my head. Like my father worked for his father. We grew up as kids together, on the vineyard, went to school together, and maybe, it was one of those things in my mind that was going on. And when you grow up with somebody like that, and your dads are buddies, and both of our dads are passed away, and it's like, we got to carry on the tradition. We got to, I just felt kinship with him and making work. And I was watching him, and Tyler is, he understands, where the camera is. And he's, been doing it for a little minute. And it was fun because I'm fresh and new to him.
Right.
And when he realized, oh, this guy he's quick, it really made for a good chemistry with he and I. Doing things. So there's a couple of wild lines we had in a few scenes, and it was fun to go back and forth with him. Those made the cutting room floor, but it was really funny. There was a scene where we go into um, one of the rooms, and I'm trying to get him to call Ruth back, and he doesn't want to call Ruth. So I went off script to pull more stuff out of him, and it just created a real good chemistry with he and I together. Like we were really, it felt like this is my dude. Let's go hang out, man. Come on, let's do this thing. And it was fun, a lot of fun. Soraya was amazing. This woman can dance, sing, I mean, act, and she's that new Halle Berry to me.
She's a triple threat, Chris.
God, she's really incredible.
Yeah.
And talking with her, and seeing her, it was, my energy with her was like, oh, yeah, yeah, okay, great. I like to fix her up with my homeboy. She's really cool, So because I'm the wingman
Yeah.
and I'm checking her out, I'm like, oh yeah, I think she could be all right. But I'm feeling that this is a really good person to me. I felt like there's no hidden agendas with her. And then off camera, she's a sweetheart. She's got a beautiful spirit. And I tell people, when you are reacting, not acting, there's a part of you that is Ruth. There's a part of you that is Boaz. Tyler has an amazing, relationship with his kids. I was teasing him, and his son calls, and he starts talking to his son while we're waiting for a scene.
Hmm.
And I'm the dad, and I love that energy, that he has. Same thing with Soraya. I mean, Soraya is not just a beautiful actress; she's a beautiful person, and they're able to bring those things, on camera because that's who they are. It's an extension uh, with the character, but they're really those beautiful people and that want love and want to share love. And I think that was the key because you can put actors together, but it's
Sure.
finding a chemistry that makes it work. And so they just had a beautiful chemistry. They worked together, but they're both amazing, beautiful energies that love life and love what they're doing. And it showed on screen, really showed on
Man,
screen.
I cannot say anything negative about this film. I mean, it just you guys accomplished everything that I think that you set out to do in a film of this nature because it takes you on a journey of Soraya's being Ruth. It takes you on a journey of Ruth,
Yeah,
and she's this artist that knows that she's got a gift,
yeah,
but at the same time, she's being forced to compromise who she is as a person. And does she compromise and sign the deal with JD, right? So deaf, or does she
right.
go a different direction? And it was just great to see the legend of Felicia Rashad. Uh,
Ooh,
oh man, I mean,
man.
you know, that's somebody that you cannot uh,
Oh,
fabricate, right? And someone that you cannot really mimic because you either are that person or you're not that person, right?
yes. It's funny. I had worked with Felicia's sister Debbie many times, and Debbie's a
Uh-huh.
sweetheart. And then I see Felicia, we talk, hi, hi, hi. But this was the first time I've ever worked with Felicia. And she, number one, she's amazing person. And she takes her craft very serious. She's really, 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 really serious about her work because that's her epitaph. And she knows this is what I'm using to build this dynasty. And I know
Sure.
I'm going to reach people. We talked about, all kinds of amazing things. Um, Life, this character, watching her get into the character. I mean, this woman showed up early, go home late. She's that person, where she could be a star. I've done everything, this, that, and the other. She's just the opposite. Humble, approachable, loving. When they did the where she gets knocked to the floor, the big guy who plays Wolf, she goes over to him, passes direction. She goes, "Look, I need you to hit me. I need you." He's like, "Oh no!" He was like frightened. No, you don't understand. I need this. Come into me and blah 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 blah, and do it like this. Because the director, everybody's saying, "Please be careful." That's Felicia Rashad. Please be careful, and she's telling him just the opposite. I'm like, "Oh my god."
Yeah,
There's
she
another.
embraced that character to the
Oh,
fullest.
there. Uh, we need our matriarchs to come together with our young folks. We need, people to embody. You don't have to have kids to be a parent to a child. And, we all need direction. Don't stick the iPhone or the iPad in front of these doggone kids because they're brilliant. They know how to work them. But you got to give them a piece of you that created the iPhone. You got to give them a piece of you that's going to sustain them when they turn off the damn internet. So I don't
That's
know how
it.
I turn off the internet, they won't know how to get back home because they use the ways and stuff.
I mean, Chris, even speaking of that, right? I just want
Mm-hmm.
to touch on this. And I didn't even think I was going to go here in this interview,
Mm-hmm.
but in the schools now, in the classrooms, let's just say elementary, right? They have iPads and I mean, not iPads, but they have computers that they
Yes.
send them home with to
Yes.
do homework. I'm like, well, what's the point? Are y'all even teaching in the classrooms?
Yeah. It's well,
It's crazy.
it's very, very interesting, and I'm gonna get to that because Felicia and I were talking about that. I did a speech UN and talking about the greatest asset on planet Earth are the kids. You know, we get older, they run the country, so we got to reach out and touch them.
Right.
He talked about, if you remember Different World, the show
Yes, I
was
do.
Cosby show. That show alone caused more kids to want to go to college than any other show ever in the history. And Felicia, who is also a dean at the she's not Harvard, I think it's Harvard. No, not Harvard. She's at Morehouse, I think, and she's still teaching.
Wow.
She's a Tony winning play in New York City. She is one of these beautiful gifts that just keeps on giving. And to be able to work with her and to share, the screen with her was monumental. And the fact that she wants to keep giving, you gotta just, if you don't do anything else, just watch the performance. And I also say to the people, because there's a lot of good comments, but there's some bad ones too. And I'll just be honest. Some people, this is not the Bible story, it's not this. I'm like, it's a movie. It's a
Right,
movie.
right.
The
And even
movie,
the stuff in the Bible is manipulated.
yeah.
That's why they took chapters out, for crying out loud.
So I want to tell all my beautiful Christians out there who were upset because it wasn't exact and we didn't wear a period piece and you felt you were tricked. It's a film. And if we can inspire you to feel good, you know, maybe you can get them to come back and read with you, whatever. But we were doing something that has not been done before. You had two men of faith, Devon Franklin and Tyler Perry, come together to put a project out there that would inspire people. And my hat's off to my brother Devon because this movie was actually his life, playing out his life. And a lot of people don't know um, he found an amazing love of his life who he just married. Uh, Hats off to him and his beautiful wife, Maria. And I was watching him go through a whole lot, thinking, "When's it going to be my time? When am I going to have somebody?" You know, because Devon and I, he's like my brother. And just to see this whole movie come together. And when we were working on the film in the very beginning, when the script was done and everything else, and I said, "You know what? You know, I'm this character in this movie." He says, "What are you talking about?" I said, I'm Gino." He goes, "Ah, come on." Yeah, I said, "No." I said, "You know why I'm Gino?" He goes, "What do you mean?" I said, "Because you're Boaz." He says, "What?" So I said, "You're the inspiration." I said, "You're literally Boaz." I said, "And you're going to get your Ruth. I see her."
Wow.
And I watched him just fall in love with the making of this and feel the hope for himself. And it was like watching art imitate life, life imitate art while we were doing the movie. And I thought that was very beautiful.
Man,
And
that's incredible. Thank you for sharing that because that is such a testimony. I mean, that's
yeah,
his testimony, right? That's
it,
part of your testimony as well.
it really, really, really is. There's a lot more to that, which was funny. Um, I told him, I said, God told me to play this character in this movie. And he was like, "Yeah, right." I said, "Dude," I said, "remember, I come from this."
Right.
"Okay." I said, "No favors. I'll audition. Just like everybody else. I know you got your Mackay Pfeiffers and all the other people." I said, "But I'm this dude." And he was like, "Yeah, okay, yeah." So I auditioned. He goes, "Dude," he's like, "this is really good." I'm like, "What?" He says, "I saw your tape." I said, "Okay, yeah, whatever." They picked somebody else to do the movie. And as the day before they were going to shoot, the director goes, "I don't like this guy playing Gino." And the guy goes, "What?" He goes, "Well, just can we recast it?" He goes, "We're shooting in a day from now." He said, "But we can go look at the submissions again." So they go through all the submissions again, and she goes, "I still don't see it." He goes, "Well, I got one more." She says, "Okay, put that in." So he puts in my submission. She goes, "That's the guy. That's him." He goes, "You mean this guy? You want this guy?" She goes, "Yeah, can we get him?" So he calls me. I said, "Yeah, man, I'm at the airport." He's like, "What do you mean?" He says, I said, "I'm at the airport. I'm coming." He goes, "Are you kidding me?" I said, "I told you God told me to play this part."
Incredible. God's word is always on point.
Always
Like
on time.
always on time. Like it's amazing to hear that. And congratulations, because I think you did a great job. The
Oh,
audience definitely agrees. Gino is a unique character that you kind of a supporting role in a sense,
yeah,
with being the backbone for
yeah,
the lead male in the
yeah.
film. Speaking of the gift that keeps on giving, Chris, what are your thoughts on Tilly Norwood, this AI generated actress? Because SAG and after point blank said, we do not support this. We are not backing this. What are your thoughts?
Wow. You can't be afraid of what's being created. Once it's created, it's out there. And you don't know bad unless you know good, don't know good unless you know bad. Even God created the devil, so these things are created, they're there to send you into, your next beginning of what it is. And people are always going to use stuff. They're always going to, come up with different things, but you can't be afraid of it. And what it does, it should help you to sharpen your skills to be even better. I think a lot of people get lazy. I think a lot of people want to find new ways to do things. I remember they used to create, different synthesizers, and the first person they would give it to would be Stevie Wonder. And Stevie Wonder would do things they'd never imagined because he's Stevie Wonder.
Right.
So, of course, there are going to be people using it. You can't be afraid of it. But then that should drive you more towards, the great talents of Tom Cruise, the great talent of a Denzel Washington, or Viola Davis, or these great actors who are out here because you're like, oh yeah, that's cool, but I want the real McCoy. I want the real thing. Um, but I don't think AI is going to go away. Um, I think you'll find people that can create and always get around things and want to do things that way. That's art. Art is subjective. It will come out all kinds of ways. Um, and just like people were afraid of, hip hop when it first started, and all the other things that come out. But I don't think you need to be afraid of it. I understand what they're saying, and oh, you're taking jobs away, but there are people going to like different things. They're going to want different things. Hey, that's something different. You might like that. I happen to like working with real people.
That's it. And I think too, to add on to that point, Chris, AI is a tool. And
Yeah.
if you learn how to use the tool to
Yes.
best suit your needs, I think it's a genius opportunity to
Absolutely.
add to your resume.
Absolutely. And know how to use it. I think it takes you to a whole nother level. And when you know what it is and you're not afraid of it, it's like in the beginning when they first came up. I was one of the first production companies to use the red camera
Oh,
back,
wow.
and a lot of these old guys were pissed off with this red camera. Thinking this is terrible, and we had to learn a lot with the red camera. It showed everything in the face. You had to change the makeup industry. You had to do all these things, and a lot of the filmmakers, the DPs, ran away from it, and then some of them gravitated to it, and they took the skill of working, a regular film camera
Right.
and turned this new camera because it sped up their process. Now you don't have to develop film. Now you can do it this way. Now you can do it that way, and they made it great to what it is today. So I don't believe in running away from things that are coming out, technology, art that's being set up for us to see and use and whatever. And people are going to like what they want to like, but you cannot beat God's gift of watching a Meryl Streep, or watching a Richard Pryor, or these greats that have that gift in them. I'm sorry, AI is not Michael Jackson,
No,
or
it never will be.
or Frank Sinatra, or whatever. It's these people have a gift, just as the person had a gift to create the AI. So don't be afraid of it. Just show them what you're made of and step ahead of it. Because remember, you can turn off the internet, but you can't turn off you.
Chris said, that's right. Chris just said, embrace it, people.
It's not going anywhere. And
No, it's not.
and which
Wow.
then kind of put me in a producing side, and I love that side because now I could create things for my friends. I didn't want to be the drug dealer. I didn't want to be the pimp. I didn't want to be, that. I wanted to be James Bond, or I wanted to be, the love interest. I wanted to be other things other than a stereotype, because I was brought up to love like you want to be loved. And it was important to create characters on stage and on film that people felt like that's me. And when you can do that, that's what music does. You don't see color when you hear music, you just move your body. That's who we are as performers. We are all God's thought. That's why we exist.
Yeah.
And we are meant to love one another and uplift one another, not hold somebody down. So when I found this in myself, um, And I was always thankful for it. Um, Always thanking God that He allowed me to do what I love to do and to meet so many different people and to have so many gifts. Um, I mean, I write, I produce, I act, direct. I've done stage, television, film, and people, oh, you can only do one thing. I don't know I can only do one thing. I just know what God tells me to do. And I go back to the vaudevillians, like, Sammy Davis Jr. And these guys, they wrote, they act, they produced, they did it all. And same thing I'm doing my brother Devon, that's why I want him in front of the camera. Because to become a great producer, you got to know what it feels like to be in front of that camera. So when you're picking these actors, to be a great, you got to know what it is to act. I'm not saying you have to act as a director. I'm just saying it becomes a different thing when you're able to be in front of the camera, behind the camera. Um, and it's amazing. Look at what, Braveheart did for, Mel Gibson, writer, actor, director.
One of the best movies ever, still to this day, Chris. Just
Cra-
a brilliant movie.
Crazy. You can't, a seed already knows it's a tree. And never let somebody tell you you can't. Always know you can. And you keep the persistence, keep working at it, and it just opens up for you. Um, you heard this expression, tell a lie 3 times and people believe it. You don't have to lie to yourself. Just tell yourself, I can do this. This is something I want to do. One of the greatest of all times, Muhammad Ali. The way he prayed, he embodied the fact that I'm going to do this. He told people what he was going to do when it happened because he believed.
Yeah, he was
And
manifesting it as he was knocking people out, dancing around the the boxing ring.
was doing that thing. And these ideas are in the ethers. And being a performer that's been able to travel the world um, and perform in everywhere from I was entertainer of the year in Italy for 3 years in a row. And
Wow.
I don't speak Italian. I was doing a live show. Bobby Seligman, I remember, took me to do that show there. Um, I am thankful to have a gift that I can share. And I just want other people to activate it because the greatest gifts, the greatest book, the greatest everything, as they say, is in the grave. And those are people that didn't push that button that they have and to activate it. So growing up, I had great, great parents. And you don't have to have the greatest parents in the world. You just have to have the gift of love inside of you and want better for yourself. And you can because thoughts become things. And being able to keep trying something over and over and over and over again, you're going to get it. Don't stop. Don't stop. And just know that you can. If you're thinking about it, you can do it.
Persistence, faith, determination.
Wins every.
It was funny because I spoke something earlier this year and I'm like, I got to accomplish this.
Mhm,
And, I came so close. And
mhm,
then the individual that was going to set this up for me passed away unexpectedly. And then you
mhm.
go and you look at things, you're like, well, maybe this just isn't meant to be. And I had to shake it off. I said, no, no, I know this is meant to be. I'm gonna stay persistent. I'm gonna
Yeah.
stay consistent, and I'm gonna do what I got to do. And then, boom, out of nowhere, because I'm prepared.
Mhm.
Preparation meets the opportunity equals a successful outcome, and here we are.
Absolutely. It's just, I think of the joy of knowing you and having you as part of my journey.
Yeah.
Uh, Brandon, I'm proud of you for creating a platform. And you're an artist too. If people don't know, this dude's an artist. It, it's
That's a whole
amazing.
nother story for another day,
Well,
Chris.
I'll come back and talk about that one because they don't know. We're doing something together.
Yes,
So
sir.
it's amazing that you allow yourself to open that up, even when people try to hold you down. Oh, you can't do that, blah, blah, blah. But you didn't know can't. You just knew this is what makes me feel good. I want to connect. I want to be able to give this to everybody because it makes you feel good. And you can't tell people how to feel.
No.
You can't tell them, but you can be that feeling and it's infectious and they'll just go. And that's what we have to learn to be. I tell people, don't flip people off, when they cut you off. Understand maybe they're going through something. maybe something's happened to them. Just wish them to a beautiful place and let them go on. And hopefully they'll find themselves. But feelings are very interesting. And you just have to feel what it is you want and it manifests, whether it's laughter, which is healing. My dad told me that as a kid. He says, laugh, son. He says, because one day they'll find out that's healing. And he says, it's very important that you laugh and very important that you hug, and you touch. He says, it's very important that you do that and let people know, how you feel and how you care. Don't go to bed angry. Don't, and I watched this man. Really, he was a coach and did many things. He started out in the medical field, but there was no, room for this man of color who was brilliant and also an athlete. And he had to support the kids, so he went off to do other things to support the kids. But he never let that get him down.
Yeah.
He just kept striving uh, to be the best and not let anybody tell you who you are when he knows who he is. And I think that was really great. And you can stay young forever. We're living longer, so take care of that body you
Forever
got.
young, right?
Yeah, yeah. It's been a blast, man, and I am so thankful for what's to come. I'm not worried about what they're saying. I'm thankful for what I'm creating.
Speaking of that, right? What's to come? What is next for you,
Yeah.
Chris?
Um, More films with Devon, which is going to be incredible. Of course, we have the festival coming up. I have a really unique movie that I got an offer for, but I want to keep it independent. And it's
Interesting.
called Live. Live backwards means evil. And it's about a doctor who can heal people without the use of medicine. And is a
Wow.
suspense thriller that is a franchise. So my buddy Evan Ross is coming on board to help me, and a bunch of other folks that love the project. And we're going to shoot it in California. We got the tax incentive for it, which was crazy. But this film, from the moment go, is going to make you think. It's going to make you feel good. It's one of those films that you will just go like, I got to see that again. And a buddy of mine over at Sony who read the picture, he says, "You just created Sixth Sense meets Crash." He says,
Whoa.
"This is crazy." He said, "I've never seen a movie like this." I said, "Okay, cool." So we're working on that right now. It's an ensemble cast, and I want to go out and find some new talent and break them out with this film. But it's going to be a real heavy, heavy music movie. I'm introducing, like James Bond sells watches and cars and suits. I'm putting new technology in this movie. Dr. Laura Kelly, you got to look her up. She has a book called The Healthy Bones, and she's discovered a treatment, which you'll hear about next year. I'll say it right now: a treatment to help correct osteoporosis and MS.
That is incredible.
This woman is amazing, one of my close friends. And she's allowing us to use her technology in the movie. All this stuff looks like it's from the future. It's crazy, the stuff that we're introducing in this film. And I'm excited about it. That's my baby that we're working on. I
Man, that
wrote that.
is awesome. I'm excited for you. I can't wait to see it. I'm
Yeah.
looking forward to seeing the success that is created from this film festival in November. I will put the link to the film festival in the
Yes.
description below. Christopher Broughton, aka Gino from the Devon Franklin and
Yeah.
Tyler Perry produced Ruth and Boaz film, which you can find on Netflix. Go stream it right now. Chris, thank you for being a special guest today, man.
Connect with me on Instagram. I'm looking for some new talent, and they can find me at Christopher Broughton 1.
Chris, thank you
Love
for
it.
being a special guest, and I'll talk to you soon.
Yes, let's do it again. Thanks, Randy.
Goodbye for now.